Hello, welcome to my epic cooking class. I hope you're doing well. I am going to check that everything's working and then we're going to get started. I'll introduce myself as well as the theme for tonight, which is better than takeout. I'm all ready for you in my kitchen. So while I'm getting started and checking the technical side of this, I would love for you to share where you're watching from. Where you're watching from, and is everything looking okay and sounding good? And I'm going to check the technical side during that time and then we can get started. So I have a couple people in my group. I usually do the cooking class every week in my private community. And I want to share it there. Also, I think that's it. Yes, I mostly want to make sure that I'm sharing it in the right place. And I'm going to introduce myself, get started, and I really would like to know where you're watching from. Are you watching live? Are you watching the replay? Okay, everything looks good. I'm going to check the comments too and see if you can. Great, I have some people watching. I just want to make sure I'm sharing to the right place here. Okay. Because I usually do this cooking class every week in private on my group. My group is called Your Epic Life with Healthy Eating with Charlotte Habegger. So I would love for you to join my group if you do not have a consultant with Habegger, or if you are already one of my contacts or customers. And that is where every week I do a free cooking class, and that's why I'm going to make sure I share it today, because I'm doing it public on my page, which is not my usual thing, and I want to make sure my group members see it, right? Because they usually get to see it every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern in English, and I have another group in French. Okay, great. So I can start and continue looking at the comments on my other computer. So we can get started here. I am going to introduce myself and check the comments to see where you're watching from and get started on our recipe for tonight, which is better than takeout. Love to know what you think is better than takeout. And so to introduce myself, my name is Charlotte Habegger and I am a connector. I'm also an independent consultant and senior director with Habegger. So what do those two mean? As a connector, I thrive on seeing people achieve their life projects, and my contribution to that is connecting people and community. That's a summary. If you want more info, you can write me. Check out my description on this page. At the top of the page, there is my bio with all my, country details and what I do. Or you can go to my Facebook profile and see my different communities that I either lead or co-facilitate. The link with food, right? The link with food, what does it have to do with food? Is that food is what we actually, create our bodies with. Everything that our body is composed of came from our food, maybe a little bit from the water environment, etc. But we're not plants, so it comes from the food that we put in it. And the food that we put in it allows us to achieve our life projects. That's the way I see it. I'm also a scientist by training. I studied protein 3D structure in a lab. I worked in labs in Europe and in North America. And I combine all of it together by sharing with you the best way to eat simple, tasty, healthy, quick, inexpensive, and delicious meals, snacks, desserts, anything that you can make in your own kitchen, so you know what's in it, so you can be sure that it's the best for you. Of course, I know it can be fun or tempting sometimes to order out or to buy some of those prepared foods that have so much sodium. So my goal is to help you find alternatives that you enjoy and are as quick to make than it is to order out. Are you ready to get started? Okay, I'm going to check the comments here, then we're going to get started. I want to make sure it's working in the group as well. Remember to join my group, Your Epic Life with Through Healthy Eating with Charlotte Habegger, if you have not yet, because every week I offer a cooking class there. And usually there's a recipe every day. I had a short pause last week, but there's a new recipe every single day in my group as well. Just so you know while I'm checking this, I offer vegetarian and actually usually vegan recipes for my cooking classes. And you can always adapt them to the protein source of your choice. So, are you watching? Are you following? Okay. Great! Oh, I'm happy you found me, Luna. I usually do it in the group, okay? So you were in the right place. You were definitely in the right place. So tonight I'm going to do a menu, a full menu, which is better than takeout. I'm going to make a roasted garlic aioli. If you don't know what that is, you know, hang on there. And then I'm going to make lettuce wraps and a summer berry dessert. The goal is to make the whole thing within about 15 to 20 minutes max, so that you can see that anything can be made from what you actually already have in your refrigerator, your cupboard, your pantry. That saves on time, energy, and money for you, and also for the planet. Like less trips to the grocery store to get more new, unique ingredients if you can use what you have at home, right? So, also less headache. There. Okay, so I use products from Habegger. So for the ones who maybe it's the first time or you just joined my group, that I associate myself, I represent the company Habegger, which is, I like to show the word because people often don't know the word Habegger. So I'll try this. Habegger is a company that's based in the US and in Canada. Originally founded in Canada, which I live in Quebec, Canada. So if you haven't written it yet, let me know where you're watching from. And I have an English group and a French group, so this is my English cooking class of the week. So Habegger is a company that offers meal solutions. So it's spice blends, herbs, actually way more than that, but they offer you a way to cook in less than 15 minutes. I know they say 20 minutes, but I always do 15-minute recipes, so I guess I'm patient in the kitchen, although I do enjoy cooking, but I like for it to be, as a scientist, it has to be, you know, efficient and quick. Okay, because then I'm ready to get down to the next thing too, right? And eat it. I use Habegger products, and today we're going to use a product called the, I talked about it last week in my group, the crispy and crunchy lettuce wrap. So if you do not have this, I always offer alternatives for the ingredients I use, and I offer alternatives if you do not have this exact one, and if you don't have Habegger products yet. If you don't have this product to make lettuce wraps, you could use any of our Mexican-inspired blends. I mean, even the guacamole blend that we have mix. I have it nearby. I eat so much of it, I never know if I'm going to find a full jar when I do my cooking class, because this is my favorite one. You could replace it with our guacamole spice blend, or, I mean, so many of our spice blends would make great lettuce wraps too. So I'm going to make this one because it says lettuce wrap. It's easier to follow a recipe that exists, though you can make lettuce wraps with almost, you know, any of your favorite spice blends. And if you don't have any Habegger products yet, use your favorite mix, or just garlic, salt, and pepper. If you have herbs, that's fine, and it would still work, so maybe not be as delicious. Habegger's products are special because they're gluten-free and they have little to no sodium, little to no sugar. It's a way of making it easier to eat in a way that's healthy and nutritious. It's full of nutrition too. So I'm going to follow the recipe that's on the package, and I always make, I always share substitutions. So I am going to make the lettuce wrap mix, and it says to use the seasoning from this meal solution. I call this a meal solution. So I'm supposed to use the seasoning from this bag with 1 pound of ground pork. Now remember, I do vegetarian recipes, and you can use whatever ingredient you want. I'm going to use lentils for my recipe here. So I've shared before that we often, in our home, we often cook on the weekends or once a week a whole wok full, a wok full of beans or lentils. Once a week we cook a whole bag of dried beans or similar, and so we use them in our recipes. So one of the ones that we made this week, we made a bag of lentils. This is not the whole bag, of course. It filled up a huge wok, I'm going to use this instead of the ground meat for my crunchy lettuce wrap. So you need a pound of it, though I'm doing half the recipe. I'll share the recipe afterwards, no worries. So you can actually watch the video again if you want to make it yourself, or you can simply follow the instructions in the recipe, and I'll post that afterwards. If you want a free meal plan, let me know too in the comments or message me. I'll send you, I have a selection of free meal plans, digital meal plans that I can share with you, and I would love to send that to you with no obligation of any kind. So this is what I'm going to use instead of the ground pork. So I'm going to use half of this bag. I'm doing half with you in English, and I'm doing half with my French group at 7, okay? So that's why I only use half of the bag. And then I could have made the whole thing and frozen it. So 1 pound, I'm going to need half a pound of my lentils. And then it says to use 2 diced bell peppers. So this is where I'm going to say you can take anything you have in your refrigerator. Like for the lentils, you could have used canned, you could have used tofu, grated tofu. If you're looking for the French version, it's going to be at 7. You can come back to my page. I see some people watching. So, sorry. 2 diced peppers is what's in the recipe. And this is where I'm going to say use whatever vegetables you have, or whatever you want to put in there. So for example, what I have here is, what do I have in my fridge that I can use to replace the 2 peppers? Well, I actually had peppers, but I still wanted to show you that you can use whatever you have. So just to give you an example, I have some kale in my refrigerator right now, my husband's favorite vegetable, so we try to always have some. I had some pepper too. I could have just used 2 bell peppers like in the recipe, but I wanted to show you. I'm going to replace my pepper by a combination of what I had in the fridge. I had a somewhat dried out celery, a leftover piece of tomato. So you can use whatever you have in your refrigerator to substitute for most of the ingredients in our recipes. Just a reminder, you don't have to be fulfilling anybody else's standards but your own. So if you want you could use rice even, or other items. So I'm going to do the equivalent of a pepper of diced vegetables. And then the last ingredient for the lettuce wrap is sesame oil and soy sauce. And I'm just going to use any oil that I have at home. I use any oil to replace any oil in any recipe. And of course, sesame oil does taste very yummy, so if you have it and no allergies, you can use that for sure. I'm just going to check if there's any questions or comments. Okay, happy to see everybody from Maine, from Quebec too. Awesome, thank you for watching. So if you haven't yet, let me know where you're watching from. And if you want a free meal plan, digital meal plan, also comment so I can send that to you. I'll be posting the recipe and the description and all the instructions later. I'm making lettuce wraps. So to make the lettuce wraps, I need the equivalent of 1 pepper, and I'm replacing the pepper with vegetables, so I'm just going to cut the ones that I have here. And I'd love to know, while I'm cutting them with my super duper ceramic knife, what would you put in your lettuce wraps? And let's talk about lettuce wraps. Why lettuce wraps? Lettuce wraps are a kind of, I guess, vegetable pita bread, kind of. It's a way of having a gluten-free sandwich. It's fun. I talked about before how challenging it is to eat them, so you can make it like a game, because when you roll up the lettuce with the food in it, it's sometimes hard to hold without breaking it and bite it. So I've done games before in cooking classes where the game was who can eat their lettuce wrap without it coming apart. But seriously, you can take there's certain types of lettuce that hold really well. It does not work really well with cabbage. Cabbage is better to make like cooked cabbage rolls. But you can make other stuffed vegetables with the same mix. You can make stuffed peppers, stuffed tomatoes, all kinds of stuffed vegetables. So, let me know what you would put in your lettuce wraps while I'm cutting this. And then we're going to mix the whole thing together and heat it up. And then I'll explain the other two elements of my recipe today, my meal today. The entree, the aioli, and the summerberry treat dessert. Okay? Are you ready for that? Once this is going to be heating in the wok, I'll be sharing that with you. So I'm only doing half the recipe, remember, because I have to keep some for my French group. I don't want to pretend cooking for my French group. Sometimes I forget and use the whole one for one of you two groups, and then I don't have enough for the second group. And then I have to taste test it all. So tough, so tough. If you're interested in seeing a catalog, we have an online catalog for the US and for Canada, and I can also mail you. This is our latest one. Not my favorite cover because it has a whole bunch of meat on the cover because I'm vegetarian, but at the same time, all of our products, like I think it's 85% of our products are vegan, so you can actually cook vegetarian, vegan, or whichever way you prefer. Let me know if you'd like to receive a catalog, a sample, and I'll be sending a digital meal solution, the digital meal plan to anyone watching this video who comments too. So I'm going to use, as you know if you've watched any of my cooking classes, my wok, which I use every single day for breakfast, almost breakfast, lunch, and supper. Anytime I'm cooking, I use my wok. And one other item, if you remember what the other cooking item is that I use every single time in my cooking classes, you can comment and let me know if you know which one that is. So, the recipe calls for a little bit of oil. I took a teaspoon. You don't really need oil in the wok, right? It's just that I enjoy it. And then we have half a pound of not ground pork, but lentils. It's 450 grams, so it's about 225 grams if you measure in grams. I'm going to put that in here. And I'm going to heat that up with the mixture. You could mix it in a bowl first. I just put it all in the wok directly. The oil, the non-ground pork replaced by lentils, the one pepper replaced by vegetables, and then we're going to be adding some water, sesame oil, and salt and soy sauce. So I'm putting the mix in. I know sometimes you like to see what the mix looks like, so I'll do that. I'll just do that for you. People like to see it. It's kind of like, sometimes when you see a spice blend, it seems like you can kind of get what it might taste like. It's weird, isn't it? Like, people like to see what a spice blend looks like, even if they can't smell it or taste it. So this is what this one looks like. It's powdery. It smells like Asian stir fry, kind of. So flavorful. And I'm going to add my equivalent of 1 bell pepper of vegetables. Like I told you, I substituted with vegetables I have from my refrigerator. So here's my medley of vegetables replacing 1 pepper. I took vegetables from my fridge. It could be canned or frozen. Whatever you have left over from a salad, maybe, too. It's a way to revive a salad by using it in a lettuce wrap the next day. And then I'm making half the recipe, so I need half a tablespoon water and half a teaspoon of oil and half a teaspoon of soy sauce. And remember, I'll be sharing the recipe later. Maybe not right afterwards because I'm doing I have to take care of the French group afterwards, but I'll be back to give you the instructions and the recipe. So this is my favorite 4-in-1 spoon from Habegger. One of the reasons I like it is because it's purple, my favorite color. And water, half a tablespoon of water, and half a teaspoon of soy sauce, and half a teaspoon of oil. I forgot. But we already put some in there, so I think that's good. Now, I'm going to let that heat up while I prepare the rest. Oh, I already have some in here. Bring you closer. The food's probably more interesting than me, right? Okay. Want to see what that looks like? Already looks good, right? Okay, so let's just talk about lettuce wraps for a second, and then I'll show you the rest of my my two other items for the menu today, because we only have a couple more minutes left. The lettuce wraps are a way, like I said, to replace sandwiches. You could also use stuffed vegetables. I've talked about this a lot, and today I wanted to try something a little bit different. Okay, we've talked so many times about the fact that lettuce wraps they come apart. Like even if you use the best lettuce, sometimes it's not like a pita bread. So what I'm going to do today that I thought would be fun is I'm going to put the lettuce, instead of making bowls with it, and I'll show you the correct way in pictures if you want to know how to make a lettuce wrap. But normally you would place your lettuce, you find a nice leaf of lettuce. There are different kinds of lettuce that work really well for this, but you take a nice leaf of lettuce, and sometimes I use our mini bread loaf pans to form them. It's like a way to cheat way. And then you put your mix when it's cooked in here, and then you wrap it up and then you eat it. But I was thinking we could do something different today. I'm going to break up some of the lettuce on the bottom of this bowl, and then kind of build the lettuce wrap on top of it. It's going to be more like a lettuce wrap salad, okay? So it may be a little bit like a lettuce, what is it called? A nourish bowl. Now, I know there's people for and against tearing lettuce. I'm going to tear the lettuce apart to make some little pieces here, but have you learned that you're not supposed to tear lettuce, it's better to cut it? I could very well cut it with my ceramic knife too. I'm just going to tear a few pieces up right here in the bottom of my bowl. Okay, so that's ready to add my mix in a couple minutes when it's ready. Okay, now I just want to check the comments and see what I'm missing. Yes, good idea. Okay, so a couple of really nice containers. Yes, I'll have to share the spoon and the utensils I used. Butter lettuce is really good too. And okay, hello Solange from Quebec. Great ideas for a wrap with rice too, and sauteed vegetables for sure. And then, yeah, if you cut lettuce in the middle, some of it, at least of it, it will be easier to fold for sure. Some of them are just not foldable, right? It just doesn't work if you don't cut out the middle, the vein, like you said. Thank you for the suggestions. I love that. It makes it more fun than just, you know, what I'm sharing, my own suggestions. So, and then I can share them with other people too. Now, the other two items on my menu are the roasted garlic aioli and the summer berry treats, and those will take like a minute each to make. It's very yummy, maybe not as exciting to watch. So I prepared half a cup of mayonnaise, and I love to use these bowls. They're prep bowls, so they have measurements here. Like that is on my finger. Here, there's the measurements here. So you can see 3/4, a half, and 1/4. So I put half a cup of mayonnaise, and I'm going to add one teaspoon of my aioli mix. If you do not have the Habegger aioli mix, well, maybe it won't taste as good because it's really good because it's roasted garlic. It's super yummy. But you could add your own garlic, either grate it really finely, or if you have powdered garlic, you could also make your own. So this is the roasted garlic aioli from Habegger. And we have recipes, like hundreds or thousands of recipes if you check out my website. And it says to put 1 tablespoon, I think I said 1 teaspoon, 1 tablespoon to 1 cup. I usually do 1 teaspoon to half a cup. It's not equivalent, but that's what I usually do, and you can follow the recipe. So I'm going to add 1 teaspoon to half my cup of mayonnaise, and you can replace the mayonnaise by something vegan. You can use vegan mayonnaise. You could use, some people replace sour cream and etc. by white beans pureed. White beans pureed can kind of replace a dip base. Ooh, it tastes exactly the same, but if you put yummy spices, it will be very good. So 1 teaspoon of the aioli mix into my mayonnaise. You can also add some lemon in here. It makes a great dip, and this is what we're going to use to top our lettuce wraps with. It could be kind of a dressing. You might not want to eat so much of it because it has a lot of garlic, unless you like that. So this is ready. And then one more thing I want to show you is my summer berry treat. So summer berry is a dessert. Well, you can use it whichever way you want. It's dried fruit in organic sugarcane sugar. Dried fruit. So another thing you need to know is I grew up in the Caribbean, so anything, you know, spices, sugarcane, avocado, I love that all those ingredients are in there. Coconut, if you're not allergic to that, it has, you know, super nutrients in there. It's called superfoods. So what's great about summer berry is summer berry you can make with plain yogurt, plain yogurt and summer berry would have way less sugar and less of the, you know, even the salt and the chemicals that you find in regular fruit yogurts if you make it yourself. You can also put it in fruit salad, muffins, etc. What I'm going to do is a rim trimmer with the summer berry. So we have a cocktail. I need to share that recipe with you sometime. Some of you know it already. The summer berry summer berry punch or cocktail. And I have the little cups that we usually had for my cooking classes. But if you have a nice, you know, a nice glass, you can use it. It's much better even for rim trimmers. So do you know what a rim trimmer is? I'm going to use I'm going to use 2 small plates. You could use, it needs to be flat. You need 2 surfaces, and in one of them you're going to put ideally a citrus liquid, so a little bit of lemon juice, lime juice, orange juice, lemonade, something that has some citrus in it. Water does work, it's just not as satisfying. And then in the other one you put some of the summer berry or whatever you decide to use for your rim trimmer. And one thing you need to know is you have to remember to put the liquid after you trim the rim, right? Don't do like I forget sometimes. I fill up the cup for people to taste, and then I want to add the rim trimmer, but that's not a very good way of doing it. It doesn't work. So don't do it that way. Do it this way. You want to have a little bit of citrus. So I have some lemon juice here. And then in one of your plates, or it needs to be flat. And then the summer berry, I just pour a little bit in the second plate. You could let people do it, like people would enjoy it. It's like kids, anybody would enjoy doing this themselves, or you can prepare ahead of time and serve people. We do it for launches and cooking classes. And the other thing, you could also grind the summer berry. We have grinder tops, so you could grind it to make it easier to adhere to the cup. And the idea is you get the cup wet in the first plate, and then you kind of stick the summer berry dip to the outside of the cup. It works better with some than others. You have your, this is just an example of what I would do with, what I do with my sample cups in cooking classes. If you have a nice glass rim, it works, it can be very, well, can be prettier than this. But it's still fun to, when you drink it, it's just fun to eat it afterwards. And what I would suggest to put in there is I made you some herbal tea. I made you some herbal tea. Oh, it's coming apart because it's been there for a while. It's a pink lemonade herbal tea. And this is a great basis for cocktails like sangria. You could make with an herbal tea base, and then you pour it in the cup, and you already have the rim trimmer on there. And these are our we have two pink drinks for the summer. Right now, our hibiscus bliss is pink, darker pink, and this is our lighter pink lemonade. You can make them cold or hot, and they can make a great basis for a cocktail. I make mocktails. I'm an expert at making cocktails from home, and though I don't add any alcohol, and you can add, whatever ingredients of your choice. Kind of like the vegan recipes, you can add whatever you decide. So I think that's about it. I want to show you the final result of our recipe today, and invite you to follow my page, go to my group if you don't already have a consultant, ask for a catalog, a meal plan. You can book a cooking class like this for you and your friends. That would be a private group, and we choose the recipe of your choice, and you can earn host gifts. And I'm also available to talk about our fundraiser opportunity and our income opportunity to share healthy eating with everyone, because everyone deserves to eat well, right? Now, I'm checking the last comments. If somebody's funny, I don't have any bugs here. I haven't had bugs since I lived in the Caribbean. When we lived in the Caribbean, that could have happened. Somebody's writing some funny comments here. Either you have something in your eyes, whoever's seen bugs, or you're just trying to be funny. But when I lived in the Caribbean, I saw some serious bugs, and I don't have any of those here. So thank you for adding comments to my video, though, because then more people will see it, and that's very helpful. So I wanted to say, I think that's it. So I'm going to show you the results from my lettuce wraps, and then contact me, comment, let's get the conversation started. Remember to say where you're watching from, and if you're watching live or on replay. So, like I said, I am not doing the lettuce wraps like it says on the package this time. I already have videos of me doing the lettuce wraps multiple times. I am doing like a lettuce, what did I call it? Build your own lettuce wrap kind of thing, salad. So I'm going to place the mix that's been cooked on top of this. I'll show you what it looks like. This is it, half the recipe. So if you do the whole recipe, you'd have a whole wok full of mix for lettuce wraps you could use for other ways, like I said, vegetables. There's a whole bunch of ways to use it. And I'm going to place this on here, on top of my lettuce, in my bowl. I like when the vegetables are different colors. And on top of that, I'm going to place the aioli. And I'll send you a picture afterwards. So here we go. It's my lettuce wrap in a bowl variation on the lettuce wrap with the aioli on top. And then I have my herbal tea with the summerberry rim trimmer. Now let me know if you want any more recipes, and I hope you enjoyed this. I'll go check the comments in a minute. Have a great rest of your day or evening, and thank you so much for watching.